¿Qué ondas, primos?
Primas.
Y primes.
Welcome to
My primos.
My primos.
My
Primo
podcast.
My name is Freddie.
My name's Kevin Garcia.
My name is Elia Maria Madrid.
Well, this is Chikume, whenever I can make it.
My Primos podcast discusses all things fandom and pop culture,
From comic books,
Movies?
To whatever obsession we have this week.
but with a Latine
Latine.
Malatine.
perspective. Remember, we're all primos,
We're all primes.
We're all primos.
no matter what part of the world we're from. ¿Qué ondas, primos, primas, and primes? And welcome back to My Primos podcast. My name is Primo Freddy. And with me tonight is my primo and yours, Mr. Kevin Garcia.com. Say what's up, Kevin.
What's up, Kevin?
There it is, everybody. What we all thrive for every week. You know, I wait for it every week.
It's
every
important.
week. That greeting. And with me, of
It's-
course,
it-
my
it-
prima.
It's like being
Oh,
home.
look at that. It's Kevin. Of course, interrupts, you know. If Chikume is not
prima.
here, the spirit of Chikume is moving through Kevin Garcia. You know?
He's always inside me in some way or another. Wait.
Oh.
Well, you do live in the same neighborhood. Moving along with us now, of course, my prima and yours, Miss Elia Madrid at Spice Illustration. Say what's up, Elia.
What's up, Elia?
A little wave, just a little wave, just a tiny wave. It's a little wave, a tiny wave.
Nice.
I'm
I don't know, man.
royalty.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, everyone had crowns on, so I drew one last minute.
And
probably-
I
Yeah.
have this ridiculously heavy one that I found at a flea market or something.
Royalty.
Nice. And tonight we have some special guests with us. Long time coming. I'm really excited to have these guests on today. We have from a beloved convention that we have here in Texas, from MexAmericon, we have Javi and Nino. Javi and Nino, say what's up to all the primos out there.
Well, no, thank you
What's
for
up?
having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm flashing the crown. Elia had her crown earlier too, but mine is just kind of an accidental deal, even though you look good in a crown. I'm going to
You
admit
do
that.
look good.
Yeah,
You
you
basically,
look really
I'm
good.
thinking you got that Biggie energy, you know?
I was
Yeah.
thinking that. I mean, like,
Yep, I can see it. I can see
pull
it.
it off.
Go to the
So-
grocery
so-
store with it on for sure.
I just need the cool, like, Cosby sweater. That's what I need, you know?
Definitely.
Definitely.
The reason I love MexAmericon, I like it for a lot of reasons, actually, because I enjoy whenever we have the Latino cons, like the Latinx Expo in California, the Latino Comic Con in Dallas. But I also love that it's a pun. MexAmericon. And I cannot get over that. I love the pun
It's
of it
so
all.
good. Yeah.
You
You
know?
know,
It just-
some people really like it. Some people are like, I don't like that name. So I mean,
What?
at least you get a good
What?
response out of it.
well,
And
Yeah.
I like-
originally, it was
We're
going to be
running with it.
Mexicon, but it was just too. We were leaving out the American in that. You know, so
I don't know why.
I didn't want to have a.
but I don't like Mexicon as much as I like MexAmericon. I
Hold
don't
on.
know why.
So
I like Mexicon. I think we need to make something happen with Mex-Econ.
I
Like
didn't
Mex
trademark it.
E,
Oh.
like the Y, Mex-E-Con.
Wait.
Hey,
Mex-
that's pretty good.
Econ.
Where were you 9 years ago, man?
Wait.
That's pretty
Mex
good,
E,
man.
but with a little E, because it's the online version of MexAmericon.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Mm,
All right.
I like,
business
I mean,
meeting.
the E,
Lot of good-
because it's con with everyone else, like togetherness, the comunidad.
We're working on the
Mm.
franchising of
There you go.
There you
MexAmericon.
go.
We're
A
gonna
lot
Yeah.
of good
Yeah.
all
stuff
over
here.
the
Good
place.
Yeah.
brainstorm. Great brainstorming
This
session.
is that brainstorm. But we're going to get into the origins. I want to know about it, how it came about. I want to know if you guys ever kind of go at each other's throats because, you know, you're working on an event together. It happens. I fight with my wife building fucking furniture. I can't imagine running a fucking convention. So,
Honestly, that sounds like an exciting type of furniture.
Well, fighting furniture or fucking furniture?
Can I
You
just say I
said
really love
one.
that segment you guys have where Kevin fills the hole? It's one of my.
I don't know
always-
what you
Thank
speak.
you.
I have no idea what you speak.
You get it, man.
I mean, I see
Yeah,
it like
I'll
you know
get it.
the Extreme Makeover Home Edition where they're like, move that bus. That's everybody's yelling that.
Fill that hole.
That's how I see it.
Javi
But
gets it.
again,
Honestly, it's a calling, and I answered.
You know what's funny enough? They're giving me a stage this year, Kevin Garcia. We'll talk about that here in a second.
Yeah.
But Primos, remember, follow us at My Primos Podcast for all your Primo needs and enjoyment. Of course, myprimospodcast.com for the episodes, our reviews, which I am almost done with my Joker review, which we talked about last week, which we'll chime in here later. And Nino has thoughts too. But of course, guys, I want to just thank you guys for listening. I want to welcome our guests here, Primos. let's dive right in. And let's just start. Nino, how about you, man? Tell me, like, one day you're having a smoothie, you're done, like pushing 285, and then you just walk across the street and you run into Javi, like, oh man, if only. Like, how did this become a thing? Like, how did you guys just start this idea to start a convention and kind of elaborate for me?
Oh, I mean, that's the story's just about right, with the exception of Javier really had the idea going first. He had that running through his mind and called me up and said, "Hey, how'd you like to help me out with this?" I was just removed out of, or had left a job working primarily in the cultural arts at the time, and I was looking to connect back to cultural arts and events and things of that nature. So it was just perfect. I mean, he called me at the right time, and really have enjoyed doing it, and connecting with all the artists and creators out there, and just doing something more so for the culture and the community, as opposed to more of like corporate type things.
Javi, what about you, man? Like, what spurred that thought then, man? Like, what was that like eureka moment that falling upside down onto the toilet? Like, what was that moment for you?
That happens to me a lot. But besides that, there's a. So have you ever seen that movie My Blue Heaven? I don't know. It's
Yeah, I
kind of
love
a.
it.
Yeah,
All
I
yeah.
right.
love my
So
blue heaven
It's a
remember
classic.
when he's in the witness
protection.
protection program and he meets all the other guys that are in there and
Yeah,
he's like, "There's enough of us to have a crime spree." So it was one of those kind of things. Going to comic book conventions, seeing a lot of brown faces like all the time, all the time, all the time. Like there's enough of us, not for a crime. There's enough of us for our own convention, and it's like just across the board. And so honestly, and I got to give a lot of credit to this man right here, Freddie Lopez.
I also have to give a lot of credit to Freddie Lopez.
Yes. So when it was just a seedling idea, when nobody kind of gave me the time of day for it, I told him, I was like, "Hey, I have this idea for this comic book convention," and he's like, "You know what? That's a great idea. Here, let me." And I saw his stuff, and I thought it was great. I think it was like Alamo City Comic Con or something like that. And I was like, and he goes, "That's a great idea," and he gave me this. He was like, "Here, take this as like just something to kind of keep you going and stuff." And I was like, I mean, I don't have anything going on. Like this is just an idea. I pick up trash at a cultural center right now, but I want to try to make this a thing. He's like, "Count me in. I'm one of your first people." So fast forward 2 years of like telling people about it and nobody understanding back then kind of what that's about. Like I don't understand. So you're gonna have Mexicans and comic books. I don't understand where those two things meet. So I
wow.
might as well have been like peanut butter and bananas to people that never eaten that sandwich
Yeah.
because they didn't understand it. So I just kept asking the people with the money and then the access to really a place to have it, and and then finally it just happened. I went over there to Texas Latino Comic Con. I mean, it was just after years of letting people know and people not understanding. And then I saw that you all over there in Dallas had the same kind of like parallel thinking, and
That
it
it
was
could be
weird because
done.
we do it at the Mac, they do it at the LAC, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, let's make this happen. So there's
Primos
other
get
people
it
that have that
done,
idea.
man. That's it for real.
Hmm.
You know what? I love that you say that people didn't get it because the first time I went, which was I don't know at this point 6-7 years, I don't know, whenever it was. First time I went, I invited some of my Anglo friends to go, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to encroach on your space. This is for Latinos." And I was like, "We want your money.
Yeah,
Like,
no, for
come
real.
buy
Yeah,
things."
yeah.
Um,
For real.
so
Yeah.
the idea of people not getting it at first, I get that, and it's like once they kind of wrap their head around, like, oh, wait a minute, it's just a convention like any other convention. It's just that we're focusing on people from within the community. That's the idea.
And that's a big
I
thing
think I
too. I'm
think
glad
that's
you
a
brought.
fair.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think that's a fair comment or situation, right, that we find ourselves in, because Javier always likes to equate this, and he can expand on this to you going out to the carne asada at your your tias or your family's asada, right? Like, but you get that one person who's not used to being invited to asada. They might sit back, they might not be too keen on going, but that's really just kind of the atmosphere that we try to build with MexAmericon, and that's why it's just got so many different components and
Well,
just
Nino,
really
you mentioned
formative.
that you wanted a connection to culture, to the comunidad. Like, expand on that, because we talk about it with our conversations that comic books, art is a personal thing, and then seeing our faces, our voices, you know, the culture right now, and I think we've talked about it before, like it's cool to be Latino until there's too much of it. You know what I mean? Like until we get too much in your face, then it's not. You're pushing it.
Yeah, yeah.
But they love us enough. They love us enough to buy it at HEB. They love us enough to go. Like we talked about last time, the white gaze. But
You know what? I want to
what?
expand on that for a second though, because I think about I made this comparison on the show before. Ant Man has like one Latino character in it, and everybody loves it. But then when Blue Beetle was gonna be like, we're all Latino characters, people are like, oh, that's a bit too much,
Too
you
much.
know?
Too
Yeah.
It's
many.
too brown. I mean, so I'll
That's
ask you. Like, why was this like this jump off to where you're like, I want to get back into the culture. I want to get back into the culture. Like, how did comic books and I mean, have you been a comic book fan, or what pulled you into the comic book space? Have you both always been fans of that?
Yeah, I mean, I never really. I grew up in the country. Didn't really come into town very often, and had limited resources growing up. So, comic books was really never anything that I was generally exposed to, other than whenever my cousins or friends might have one here or there. Obviously, I never saw myself in those comic books represented
Mm,
as much as we're trying to do and present now. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, my father was always big on about culture and just cultural pride and things, and so I always found that from my dad. And from there, I mean, I went to a school that was growing up, elementary, middle school, high school. It was predominantly white school, and just really didn't see myself represented or really out there. So I found myself gravitating to stories of the Mexican Revolution, Pancho Villa, Emiliano Zapata, and things of that nature. So that was always something that I really dug into and enjoyed. Found my way into college, ended up as a Mexican American Studies major, and really just enjoyed that. Was able to see myself, was able to hear stories that you don't hear in mainstream media, mainstream history, anything of that sort. Anything that we are represented by in the textbooks these days is by now already halfway removed, or if not more than that. So it's just frustrating. And eventually, I found myself working at a cultural center with Javier. Did that for about 6 years and left there to a different job. And then that was kind of around the time that Javier had called me, and I was just ready to get back into it, ready to do my part. I'm an artist by no means. Can't draw a straight line, so
right here, man.
I find myself being more of an administrator and just doing what I can. In my time at the cultural center, it was all about being a key holder and trying to open doors or give advice, and just trying to provide more access.
I love that image,
But
man, of the key holder. Like, like you're like you said, we talk about gatekeeping and things like that, and opening doors, and like it's
yeah,
such a symbolic deal. But then let's be real, you fucking open and close the building too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we,
yeah.
we grew up with that. Like, hey, yeah, we trust you with the building, and like that image of the key holder. I know Rick Moranis somehow got back into my brain. But because of my blue heaven. There we go. Ghostbusters. We're back. We're back.
It's
We're back.
hey, it's an
Full
'80s thing.
circle.
You just got to go with it. It's an '80s
You
thing.
just
You
gotta
go
go
with
with
it.
it. But what I'm getting at is it's a beautiful like symbolism there. Is that's that image of the key holder. I say opening doors. That's what you're doing, man. You're not an artist, but facilitating the fact that you can connect the culture with the art,
Hmm.
with the creation, with the creators here. Elia has a table there most of the times, right? And
Yeah,
this
it
year.
does
she
so
can express
much.
her. Yeah,
Yeah.
please expand.
Yeah, no, like I've been doing this show. I don't even remember the first year I did the show, but I'm so happy that y'all reached out the year y'all did and I was able to do it. It's more than just an event for me because there's something about events that connect with la cultura and I can showcase myself not just as another artist, but as a Latina. Like I'm a Latina that's doing this. And to be able to meet other artists, other comic artists, other creators, other creatives that are also Latine and have works to show. It's been the best like kind of like welcoming into the community. on the creative side of the Latina space. I've met so many great people. Like, it's not just a show, it's like a reunion. It's like a family reunion
Hmm.
with a bunch of creatives, and meeting new creatives each year that I get to follow. And it just always blows my mind, like, how talented we all are, like everyone's
Yeah.
amazing. And
That's
I'm
the best
so
way of
glad
putting it.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's amazing people showcasing their work, and I'm honored to just be able to bask in it.
Well,
Javi,
we're honored that you chose to come and
Heck
take a
Definitely.
yeah.
chance with us that first year, and then still keep coming and showcasing. And I mean, like Nino said, we're just administrators, so we're not here to try and do backdoor sell you Herbalife or nothing like that. We're just here to showcase
I'm
y'all,
in
and
the
that's
market,
really it.
by the way. So
So what's
Put
this I hear
together
about
the
Herbalife?
convention. Go ahead.
mhm.
About
Yeah,
Herbalife.
we need some Herbalife. If you're selling Herbalife,
Oh, sorry, need
that's
sponsors. Oh, okay. No,
some
anyway, it's
sponsors.
a
We
great
start.
product.
Hey, you know what?
But
Herbalife, if
Hey,
you're
we're open
listening.
for sponsorship. But what I was gonna ask you, Javi, like, like, did you ever like, what was the vision when you reached out to Nino or Freddie Lopez and everybody? Hey, this is my vibe. This is my idea. Like, but what finally said like put you over? Was it? I mean, like, finally made it happen.
One word: ignorance. Nino said it best. When we did that statesman interview, they were asking, what made you think that you could do this? And Nino, um, he said, I think Javier was pretty ignorant as to what he could do and not do, and that was really it. I mean, it was just, hey, just like a band-aid. I didn't. I You have to pay for a lot of stuff. I mean, y'all have your passion projects. It's not going to make you any money. So that's the first thing that you got to get
Yeah.
out of your head. You were going to lose money, but you were going to gain so much more from just emotionally and just spiritually and all that stuff, that offsets it 1,000,000,000%, whatever it is. So yeah, just at one point, you just kind of just take that step off that ledge, make that first call. And when that first person says, yeah, I'm down, do not let that first person down. Do not
Yeah.
let that second person down, that third person down. You don't want to have a fire fest, right? So you want to make sure that
I mean,
everybody's going,
unless you
everybody's
want a
taken care
documentary
of.
made.
What's that?
Unless you want a documentary made, then totally have that Fire Fest.
Yeah, I called Ja Rule, but he was not down for
It will be
another,
called
unproven thing.
MexAmericon. We
So,
don't want that. We don't want
MexAmericon.
MexAmericon. We don't want that.
may-
We
We
don't
don't
want
want
we
that.
don't
maybe
want
as a
the TikTok, yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean,
But
that's really it, and to Nino's point and to Kevin's point, it's like it's not just about, and you're asking about like the theme and things like that. We start off our event with like an artist circle to kind of introduce everybody, get that that going.
It's true. I
Um,
love that.
It's so
that
fun.
actually was an
It creates a
idea
Yeah.
that
community.
go ahead.
It creates
Sorry.
like a little mini community within the community, and I love it.
Yeah, that's not my idea. That actually in Teatro Campesino, Luis Valdez, who did La Bamba, he had a theater camp, and that's what they did in the beginning of that theater camp. So all his kids, his family kind of ran it. It was a cool little experience. But anyway, I always loved that. That was a fantastic experience. So I don't know. Every time one of us has an idea, like for instance, to wear this hat, I'm like, man, is that going to be really dumb or kind of dumb?
dude, I'm
Uh,
digging the vibe. Like
I want to
I'm like
say,
Hat wear.
hat wear.
thank you.
yeah,
So
I want to
you
say
know,
it's the sunglasses inside. That's the vibe I can dig. Sunglasses inside.
It's a
I
very
appreciate
Pitbull
that.
vibe. It's like
Future's so
Pitbull
bright.
with Tejano.
Hey.
That's kind of what we're
Yeah.
looking at right there. You know what I mean?
But I'm
Heck
just glad that it was that that it's so well received. That we want to create that community, and I'm glad that we're on my Primo's podcast because that's how we ultimately see everybody. Is a primo, prime, prima. Is like everybody has a little bit of differing opinions, different views on things, but ultimately we all grew up in your grandma's house. We all grew up in the same kind of way, and you might have a primo that went to prison, and might have a primo that's a cop, and everybody comes together and you're all eating that same
We still get along.
pozole
You
that
know?
everybody ate and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
man.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
it's
we
like
want, is like
so good.
it's like everybody kind of just get together. It's like a backyard barbecue or whatever it is. Y'all concentrate on the positive and hopefully make connections, and then everybody kind of goes off from there and does their own thing and just have like, was it 6 hours of just peace and a good time. So that's really
Yeah.
it.
I
Food,
love that you said
music.
everybody, and you bring everybody in. You say everybody's a primo, and the thing is that like it's called MexAmericon because like we're in Texas. The majority of Latinos, Latinas, and Latinas here are Mexican American origin, but literally everybody's invited. It's a nice
Mhm.
pun. Like I
Mhm.
said, it works for the pun really well. But like I've actually had people say, well, we're Colombian or whatever. Is that like no, you're invited too. Everybody's
Yeah,
invited.
yeah.
It's just for the title, and it's a good title, but like everybody's family.
Mhm.
I
I
mean, we can't
appreciate
do
it.
Yeah, and
Salvatrucha Con, I mean, that can happen down the line. I don't know.
We
I'm not
could.
promising anything,
Hey,
but
let
I
us
mean,
know. Let us know. We'll be there.
Yeah, hell yeah.
make it happen. Otra fiesta. We have pupusas instead of tacos. It'll be great.
Yeah.
We
Um,
support our Salvadorian
Heck
brothers.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, go man, definitely. This
Our
this Nino Xavi right now too. So Bitcoin land and Surf City, whatever. Man, I say this because there's some nefarious shit under the sands in El Salvador, and I trust me, I got opinions, but that'll be for a different show. Um, well, I'm excited because I got to collaborate with you all a few years back. I think I first met Kevin there as well when we were doing things from during COVID. You
Did we
know,
really? Yeah, we did.
um,
That's right. Because it
yeah,
was the
it was
I
during
was hosting the online. I think I was hosting the online
Mhm.
convention because I did that
yeah.
for you guys and for another convention as well, which made me feel really special. As even though I know nothing about technology, but I was hosting a lot of the pandemic ones.
Can I
yeah,
can I
and
just say too real quick that how
sure.
grateful we are to Kevin, and I don't want to like gloss over that because Kevin had been like such an early supporter of us and had been just so great with everything that he does, getting all of his research, all of his knowledge. Like, there's no way that I could even touch that. Like, I
Look,
like
there
comic books,
was
but when I met Kevin, I'm like, I don't like comic books.
I see
Not like I
Kevin's
have. There's no way that
look
I could
Kevin's
even touch
there
Zell
what he's
Zell
was
is
doing.
open, and he sent he
that's
sent you some
true.
cash, Xavi. I
That's
see
right.
that.
You can
You sharing the screen.
look.
You
There was a
that
need.
private,
There was a need. There was a thing that was missing that needed to
and
have
you
something inside of it, and I just said that had to be me.
own it, man. That had to be you. Own it.
He's
Fill
finally
that
here. Finally,
need.
He's
acceptance. Acceptance
he's
is the
been
last
doing it
I
for a
step.
never I
while.
never
I'm
denied
so
it. I'll be
proud.
honest.
Yeah. So thank you
He's
very
right.
much.
He's
Bottom of
right.
my
Merch
heart,
coming
Kevin.
soon,
Thank you.
everybody.
There you go. T-shirt coming soon. Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Kevin fills a hole. He
Fills
does,
the hole.
definitely. He fills a hole. But I bring up COVID because obviously, getting like not only is it hard to get a convention off the ground, obviously, and then how many years running were you guys into MexAmericon when COVID hit and you had to make a change?
That would have been that was the third year. Started in
3 years.
18, 19, and then 2020 we presented online.
I mean,
It's
what was
tough.
that like?
I mean, it was tough. I mean,
Wasn't
through the
fun.
discussions we had was we just didn't want to lose our presence out there, and presenting the con. We wanted to keep that longevity and just be consistent and being able to offer, the connection to the community and the creators. But it was also a great opportunity for us to be able to connect with a lot of people from out of town, out of state, and
Hmm.
so that was a great
It's true.
opportunity. We had people out of California, Washington State. We had one of our presenters was from Brazil that Kevin connected us with.
Yeah.
So it was just a great opportunity, and it allowed us to do a lot of different things. We were able to feature a little bit more on the animation with Robert Gonzalez out of San Antonio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You guys
That
also had
was
that
that was
Netflix
awesome to be
cartoon
able to
too.
connect with him.
I like that you said that about bringing people together as well, because aside from just getting the community out there and then making that little community with like the circle beforehand and everything else, one thing I love about these kind of events is creators get to meet creators.
Yes,
Like you get to, like I said, met Freddie. In fact, Elia, I'm pretty sure I met you at one of these events.
I think so.
I
Yeah,
Yeah. So like yeah, everybody meets people here, both the audience and the creators themselves. It's not even networking, it's really just meeting people and making new
yeah,
friends and family.
yeah.
That's
Like I
honestly
have
one of
a
the most
whole.
rewarding things too about MexAmericon. Like whenever somebody
Yeah,
connected, or they just became friends, or next thing you know, somebody's working on a project together. I mean, that's just to another level of what we're looking to have and to see done.
heck yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I have a
for real.
whole base in Austin now that like keeps up with my stuff, and it feels cool. It's like, oh, I'm not just in Dallas now. People in
That's
Austin
cool.
like me. Yeah.
I mean, the reason I bring up COVID is because I think that's the first time we worked together, and I was, we did our process there, and we had a blast, and then that vibe just kept running, man. Like after that, we finally were back in person, and I love how it just came back full force, right? And not only that, but the fact that it feels like it's just getting to be a bigger party. We're celebrating that,
Mhm.
right? This is now year what, 9? Am I
This
10?
is 7.
9?
The
Seven.
7.
7,
It's
excuse me,
issue
7.
7. It says on the poster, issue 7.
7 of
Yeah, Freddie
7,
By the way, I
God.
think I
777.
yeah. Which, by the way, that threw me off, and I'm not gonna lie. Even though I'm, like I said, I'm all into comic books and stuff. I saw the issue 7. I was like, I wonder why it says 7. Are they referencing it? I'm like, wait, it's because it's year 7. It's
Good
because
job,
Well,
it's year 7.
Kevin.
It's an
what do
Easter
we have
egg.
to look forward to this year? Like, let's talk about this year's event, which is, of course, happening November 2nd, MexAmericon. Tell us about, where is it going to be held and what can we look forward to? What can people look forward to at MexAmericon?
Javier, you
Let's
want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So we're having it at the again, we're having it at the Pan American. So the we usually have it with our partners, the City of Austin, Mexican American Cultural Center. Right now they're doing some renovations for a couple years. So in that time, we're at the Pan American Park, Hillside Theater. So we're gonna have it again there this year until the renovations are done, I believe next year. Hopefully, we can have it next year, but you know how things go with the city, so let's just hopefully. So this year is going to be same, pretty much same setup but bigger. How many artists and vendors do we have now, Nino?
So this year we're up to about 45 comic book creators, artists, and related media like zines, fan art, things of that nature. And then we have another 25 or so artists and vendors that'll be doing more of,
Wow.
what you'll find at typical art markets.
Hell
And
So
yeah.
of those 44, of those 45, 44 of them are really talented, and then there's me.
Yeah.
They have
no,
to
That was
they
you're
have to fill
five
the
of those
hole, Kevin.
45. That's we counted you
They
five
have to
times.
fill the hole, man. Turn
You
into
Well,
have
big
five
artists.
tables,
and
Kevin.
Kevin, you're joking there, but one of the things that we really pride ourselves on is a couple things. One, we don't define what Latino is. If somebody
Yeah,
wants to participate and they define themselves as Latino, whatever form of media or look they'd like to have, we have anime people who are more anime themed. We have like, I guess what you would term maybe like a classical type look. We have, people who are trying new age things, steampunk. Like it's all over the place. Um, and that's
yeah,
by no means, we're the
No,
administrators. We're there to put on that party and to make it, be the best experience for everybody who's involved. And so, like, we really enjoy that. And then the other part is, we have varying levels of experience and skill level. It's if you want to get out there, come on. We'd like for this to be your first place to kind of take that jumping start from.
I like that you said that because something I've talked about before is that I had a lot of trouble with my identity growing up on the border because I was not Mexican enough or not white enough or whatever. But when I came to Austin, it felt really, really welcoming. It's the first time I really felt like I was part of a community, and MexAmericon was a big part of that. So that's like I 100% agree with that. I love that.
yeah. Our unofficial motto is if you're brown, we're down. It's like
Yo.
and various levels of brownness. Okay.
No, it still counts. I
No,
love it.
yeah. So it's basically, yeah, whatever you're doing, we want you to be able to develop it if you're starting out. And we also want kids to go out there and see people that look like them, that have their
Yep.
names, to be able to say, you can do this too. Like it's not just, you have to look a certain way or tell a certain story. You don't have to do superhero stuff. I mean, Love and Rockets was a great comic book. Things like that. You can do whatever you want to do, but we just want to make sure that there's a space for that, right? So like Nino says, there's a platform for you to showcase what you're doing. So that's
I
really
love
it.
that. Hell yeah.
No, definitely. It's great to hear that because it's exciting whenever we have, like you said, right? That when we see that, I love seeing that Kevin's the one that travels the most and Elliot does as well, but Kevin's the one that's all over the place.
Mhm.
But to see these conventions, these gatherings of community, of comunidad, Latinos, Latine, creatives, right? From what is it, all the way up there by the panhandle or all the way down by the border, like
Hmm.
there's conventions popping up here and there, right? Gatherings that are growing and growing. So it's great to see stuff like MexAmericon and Texas Latino Comic Con here in Dallas. And of
We
course,
had one in Brownsville briefly called Crearte, which I really loved. I
Mhm.
haven't heard it from the past couple of years. I think the
It's
pandemic
actually
really hit a lot of
happening
people
this
hard.
weekend.
It
Happening again this
is.
year.
This weekend.
I
Yeah.
Oh
just
man,
found out
I'm
like
out.
yesterday.
See, that's the trouble. I'm literally somebody was asking me the other day about something happening on the border, and I'm like, yeah, I don't hear about it as much anymore. I need to connect down there some more. I need to
Yeah,
get back to that. Karate, I know you're listening, so bring me next time.
hey,
right,
you need
same.
somebody to fill a
I had
spot for
fun.
a hole? Kevin Garcia, everybody. He can take care of it for you guys.
Yeah.
You know, I think that the fact that we get to have these conversations and talk about the culture and still have fun, right? At the end of the day, it's fun
Yeah.
because we all grew up. At least I did. Kind of beat over the head that culture means boring. Culture is a history lesson, and history, if it's not taught right or the right history is not taught, we don't expand or learn from it. Right? It was just a beating as another lesson. But when we can expand on it and understand that you can learn from your culture is everything from the food you eat, the songs your mom sang at the kitchen, or the neighborhood guys hanging out up front, just telling jokes, ragging on each other. That's culture. That's our people.
Mhm.
And no matter where, as I always say it, man, and I mean it. No matter where you're from, we're all primos, right? Like we have a connection to each other. So MexAmericon, Texas Latino Comic Con, all these conventions that are up and down Texas and Los Angeles, everywhere that have, like you said, the brown space,
Hmm.
like I'm excited for that, and I get so pumped when I hear that. But we're not the one, like you said, opening those doors. We're not gatekeeping. We want everybody to come in. So November 2nd, MexAmericon, the Primos are going to be there. I
Hmm.
believe the ghost of
East Austin.
Chikume will appear.
Yeah,
Okay, it will appear.
we've been
Has
At
been
told.
the
prophesized.
ethereal, it's been prophesied. They said somebody threw some bones and some dice and
Yeah,
like they
manifested
burned some
everybody.
sage, all this stuff. So he may appear if we clap hard enough, something like that. I don't know. Different medium. But Javi, I want to give you the space right here to talk to the audience. Somebody that just never been to your convention, somebody that's like curious about it, be it as a patron, be it as a creative, maybe for next season or next year. Like, tell them about why they need to come to MexAmericon, like why they need to show up to support primos like us, and just to go experience the culture that you guys have worked so hard to cultivate there.
Well, I think the first thing for creatives and for artists is that um, we don't charge. Is one thing for your artists. Like there's a lot, it's something that if we can keep going with that, that's something that's a goal for our comic book artists because I know that there's a lot of we know that there's a lot of hurdles financially to get your art out there. It's very expensive. If you're doing print, you're doing all this stuff. There's a lot of overhead with that. And kind of again talking about your commercial comic book conventions. I mean, it just kind of blows my mind that you got to pay them to actually have a product for them. It's kind of like they're getting you two ways, and then you
Mm-hmm.
got to make all your money back somehow. So anyway, we want to take that kind of paywall out of the picture so that people that and also we're not charging our audience as well. So you get people that that want to go to comic cons that have never been that so they got two different points that help out. Is like A, you're gonna see faces that look like you, and B, you're not gonna have to spend 25, $50 just to go over there and just to see if you like it or not, right? Come check it out, get into that space. So anyway, that's one thing. The other thing is just like a party. We have food over there. We got we got music. One of our punk rock bands, Outlet Odyssey, that we partner with every year. They're from El Salvador. So
Hey,
I'm
there
always
you
up for
go.
some punk.
Maybe one of your next if
do it,
check
man.
them out. They
Hey,
just
for
and
sure.
because of us, like they were kind of like in the space of not they didn't have any Spanish music. But then after we kept having them, they wrote a Spanish song. And
Hey.
I
Brian
love
told
it.
me that. He's like, hey, because we're here, and we come here every year, we thought we'd at least have a Spanish punk rock song for you guys. So
There we go, man. I have to go meet my own, man, and go hug it out and kind of get psyched up.
heck
That's
yeah, there's some
awesome.
cool dudes.
That's
So
awesome.
and anything that I'm
Yeah, no, I'll just expand on the no charge thing. We want families to be able to come out. Again, just to hit on some of those things, like it's hard to go to any of those conventions and things, especially whenever they're more commercialized. It can be more
Exactly.
expensive. A lot of those things are based on, at least from what I've seen, on the special appearances. get your picture, get your signature, things of that nature, and then
You
the
could
true
still do that,
artist
but with
figure.
the cast of My Primos podcast.
I promise you, I won't charge you. Okay, I'm there for every
I
But-
picture, every.
will.
The only
Oh,
charge is
anyone-
for
I'm just kidding.
autographs.
Well, that's a good point that
It's
Nina
true.
brought up too, because a lot of times when you go to Comic Cons, really all the resources are going towards the celebrity stuff. We
Mhm.
focus on the comic book creators, like our artists and creators is the focus of our event, and so everything else that we have over there, it's cool, but it's really to get everybody to see these comic book creators, the artists and vendors, creators, things like that. So that's a good reason why we partnered with the MAC to do it during their Dia de los Muertos event. They were so kind enough to have us there. So it kind of brings people that wouldn't necessarily come there for that to kind of see that. And, that's got pretty popular commercially, Dia de los Muertos. So, let's use that.
Yeah.
Let's use
Yeah.
that and let's introduce them to some people and some artists that they normally wouldn't have. So, spoonful of sugar, come on down,
By the way, I love that it's timed with Dia de los Muertos. How that's enabled you to get like other kind of partnerships, I guess, helping out to kind of co-promote, I guess, right? How has Dia de los Muertos become part of the event?
So one of our sponsors has been Lupe Arte. It's Latinas Unidas por el Arte.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Lou and them have been just fantastic believers in what we do. So can't thank those ladies enough. But yeah, doing it during Dia de los Muertos like I said, just people don't expect that to have like a comic book convention there. So when they come, they're like, all right, I want to see, Sugar Skulls. I want to see all these different things. But you have people going over there, and not just Latino people. Like we have a big audience, and those are the people that have come there for that product. So I think some of our other artists, and I forgot who it was that told me, they're like, I've been told that they said that they do very well there because people come there for that specific product. I think I got off tangent, but basically, yeah, like people come there to get that. So I forgot what the original question was, but basically, it's a
It's
good.
about Dia de los
Dia de los
Muertos, but like it
Muertos.
still works. It still works.
Yeah.
It works, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, and
Still
that
do.
just really worked out for us in the timing. One of the years that we were trying to do the event, we have a great artisan market as another part of our event, and the MAC was looking for some of that, and so we were able to kind of pull all our things together and be able to provide not only MexAmericon but the artisan market, things of that nature, which just overall leads to we've always tried to build the event as a big party, right? And multimedia, different aspects for different people, so that way we can get them there, but then we can then bring them over to the comic book creators and things of that nature, so they find themselves in places they wouldn't necessarily
It's an
find themselves
inclusion,
in.
I mean, like, let's look at it from an event headspace, right? Like, you're including people that, like you said, if my wife isn't necessarily, she's now it has to, because I drag her everywhere with me, but she's not the one that would go to a convention to read comic books and hunt down random black and white prints of Tales from the Crypt, and shake hands with the Kevin Garcia, you know what I mean? Like, she's just like, whatever, like, let me go. But because you have the artisan market, because you have the Dia de los Muertos, those altares there, right? Which when I went to the MAC, I saw that. Like, she felt like, wow, a connection. She said, wow, this is great. There's this here for that crowd that wants to see that little bit of home or the past or that culture there as well, and it allows for 14-year-old comic book nerd that's freaking out that wants to go buy books and stickers to have mom and dad, hey, mom, look, this is like a sneaky way to get in, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
Mhm.
it's a cultural thing. But little do they know, it's on both ends, man, everywhere, you know what I mean? So they're both getting fed that culture. So it's awesome. I'm excited that correlation's there. And then can't say it enough, November 2nd, MexAmericon. Definitely, guys, show up if you're in Texas or not, fly in, make it happen. I don't know. We got people listening from everywhere, so please, if you want to come on in, it's a free show. They can't pay for your tickets as far as flights or hotels, but if you come out of town, and I'll buy you a soda. I'll do that. I'll do you a solid. Okay, I'll
Yo.
buy you a soda.
And
I'll buy you
and
a soda.
also
You heard
too, if you
that?
got a
Promise
family,
here.
yeah, for next year. And also I just want to highlight too something you brought up, Freddie, like about families, right? So we have activities for kids. It's free. Again, we really like to not charge anybody for anything. So we have activities for kids. One of the things is uh, games like throwing games, but we've taken away the balls and stuff and replaced it with chanclas. So chucking, Mexa
I like
cornhole
it.
competition.
Mexicorn
Um,
hole.
yes. So
I
just
like it.
different, just little workshops, free sugar skulls, face painting, balloon twisting, all these different kind of things to just keep your kids,
I
occupied
have
and
a
active.
piñata somewhere in the corner over here from a
There are
couple
there are
years
going to be
ago.
piñatas over there. There are going to be piñata
Heck yeah.
displays. So a lot of different things. Again, just to make
It's
sure
fun.
that the whole family can go, because those of us with families, you just can't drag your kids along to be like, come over here to see this thing that mommy or daddy wants to see.
Yeah.
You
They
got to have
don't
That's why
something
care.
for
face
them.
painting's important.
Yes,
And
yes.
you can't
Especially
forget the
Kevin
Loteria.
Garcia.
We're gonna have Loteria
Oh, that's right.
again.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, cool.
This year
Oh
we're gonna be
man.
working with a guy out of California who has a Loteria deck that's
Heck
gonna
yeah.
give us let us feature his game this year.
Ooh.
So we're really excited about working with that. His name is Ernesto Quinones Curiel out of California. And so we're really
That's an
excited
interesting
about
name.
that.
And then Nawali, you're gonna have a Nawali game as well, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll have that presentation as
Gonzalo's
well.
going to be.
Gonzalo.
Go be there, Gonzalo. I know a lot of the old. It's fun to kind of just a reunion.
Yeah.
But the primos will be there. We have
That's right.
something going on over there with the works.
It's a
And
good
we're
one.
excited about that. It'll be my first time being involved with MexAmericon outside of being a guest, just being a guest and a patron. But I'm
We're
excited.
excited. We're super
Um,
excited to
yeah,
have y'all.
it'll be
We're
fun,
big
man.
fans of the
Kevin, watch
show.
out, man.
We're big
Aw.
fans.
I appreciate it. I appreciate. I tell
Everybody
people.
should be.
I tell people. It's not just me playing radio. There's people listening. Okay, there's people listening. Okay, all
You
right.
guys
It
have a
is what it
really
is.
great dynamic. I mean, it's
Aw.
entertaining, it's informative. So
Don't stop.
we're very
Don't
happy to be on here, and
come.
hopefully
Freddie's just
Come in.
eating it up.
it's
I need
okay.
it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's
Yep,
great
just
right
a crown.
there. That's
It's
it.
good. Here you
Burger
go. Sit
King.
down, man. Mr. Burger
Love
King,
it.
literally. But
Um,
Primos, I want to just we're gonna again reiterate MexAmericon and what are the socials so people can follow follow along, find you guys. Feel free. What is it?
So on Instagram and Facebook, you can find us at MexAmericon, MEXAMERICON. Catch us there. Like and share. Please pass along the word to all your family and friends. If you're out of state, please connect with those in state and let them know. If you're out of state and you can catch a flight over, come on, check us out.
yeah.
Never
Heck
know,
yeah,
man.
come anyway. Doesn't matter how far you're coming from.
Have fun.
Yeah,
Greyhound,
and,
Enjoy
go to
and
yourself.
just
Austin.
on that note, we have artists and creators coming from. We have one coming from Sacramento. We have people come from San Antonio, Dallas,
I've heard you
Houston.
have artists from as far away as Austin.
South Austin.
Exactly.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm coming from South Austin, so there you go.
There you go. It's such a
You
such
got
a
to go
trek.
through
Of course,
I-35.
Kevin.
That's no joke, man. It's like
I got
Yeah,
and Ben
45
White.
minutes.
I'm coming from way far away.
dang.
Well, Primos, we're gonna take a quick break here. We'll be right back with more from the show, our recommendations, and more with Javi and Nino. Stay tuned.
Cumbia. La vida sigue, la gente llora, el zapato vuela junto a tu boca, la gente cruza, los carros chocan y uno todo ignora. La vida sigue.
Thanks for hanging with us, Primos, and we're back. So before we get into our Rex, I wanted to bring something up we talked about last episode, and we have thoughts here on the panel. But was the Joker sequel, right? Joker 2, Falud the Flag, Flip, Flick, Fluke, Goof, that movie?
The
Um,
thing, the Joker,
the,
the second one.
the
Oh, le
thing,
Guacamole.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
the foul, the foot, I mean, whatever, that one. So I read something, Kevin, and I mentioned it before the show, and I think we wanted to say let's hold on to it until we get a recording, right? So obviously you guys know my thoughts about it, and I say go see it for yourself, but I recommend you watch The Wild Robot instead.
Or anything else?
Anything else? You know what we talked about
Megalopolis?
over the
No, okay,
Megalopolis?
never mind. Maybe
Well,
not that.
Oh.
You went to a whole different.
Oh.
Me and you can talk afterwards. But here's the deal. Everything that I voiced was kind of echoed by a lot of different people, right? They all have their qualms, but overall, the people that are in our bubble kind of went like, hey, you know what? Kind of a shitty movie, kind of bad, just didn't hold up, right? You know, I mean, you kind of shaking your head,
Oh yeah.
but the fact that they went to defend themselves was amazing. There was everything from the studio saying, it's not my job. It was a director that had final say, so you know it's on him. Then the director going, you just didn't get it.
Yeah, of course.
It's
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's because it's so obtuse and so different, and you're not supposed to like Arthur. You're supposed to do this, and you don't get it. It's different. It's just so high art. The Cannes Festival, it was amazing. People loved it at Cannes, and I'm like, okay. And then every other interview I read was people saying that it's just so new and so nouveau that we don't understand it. That it's so arty that we're just not supposed to get it. But 10 years from now, people will look back at this film and say that
Mm.
this was the start of the revolution between uh, comic books and pop culture to become more high art.
Is
That's
it
Like
No,
literally
that's
the
the
Biodome.
That's
direction
conversation.
we're
so
going.
confident.
Did you say like Biodome?
Like
It's,
Biodome
it's like they
in
were
the army
trying
now.
to. I heard they were trying to make it the anti-musical musical because I guess musicals were too effeminate for them because they wanted to make it a more masculine version of a non-musical. But I'm like,
A lot of guys already
eh,
like musicals anyway, so I don't know
they
why they
do.
would
I
do
love
that.
musicals.
Yeah.
I used to say I hated them, and it turns out I was wrong.
You were wrong.
Then I
But
watched
what
Joker.
what do you think, Kevin? I know you have some thoughts about this too. Like, what are your
Well,
thoughts on that kind of
no,
defense? Or
my thoughts are just like again, my partner said it best, which is when Marvels was struggling, which I think is a great movie, one of the most fun I've had in the MCU, and that's saying a lot considering how many movies they've got. It flopped primarily, in my view, because prior to it coming out, there was a bunch of negative press, and everybody that would have come to the defense was honoring the strike. So when the strike ended, it was too late. The damage had been done and nobody cared to watch it, right? But then what was the word? Oh, is it because it had a black director? Is it because it had a female director? Is it because it was a female-led thing? Is it because there were people of color in it? And what she was asking was, well, if Joker flops, are they going to start saying, well, if white men make a movie, does that mean it's going to flop? And I don't
Of
think that
course
conversation is
not.
going to be had.
Of
they're
course not.
floundering, man. They're
Of
defending and
course
saying we
not.
don't get it.
Man.
And that's what you want to make a movie that nobody gets.
Well, but
So
here's my question.
Yeah.
that's
Nino, you've
yeah.
seen it. Did you get it?
I haven't seen it.
I
Nino?
I
haven't
saw
seen
it.
it yet
I
either.
didn't get it. It just went on way too long for me. It was just a little too much.
But it was not even enough. Like it's one of those deals where watch it to talk shit, pretty much. Like watch it just so you can
Yeah.
be part of the conversation. But it's not like something you want to be like, oh man, I can't wait to go see it. No, like this is it's shitty because, like I said, because it's a white man going, I know what art is, not you. And if it was a woman or if it was a person of color, they'd talk shit like we talked about in
Oh
the
yeah.
last episode.
Mm-hmm,
They'd say, oh, that's why we don't let you guys make movies.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the last
Yeah.
time we get a black director. Oh, that's the last time we get a Latina director or a female director, because look what happens, right? But because it's these old white guys, the guy did The Hangover and Joker. Okay, I mean, I
Oh,
guess.
Yeah. Mr.
Like,
Here's the
Creepy,
I
right?
thing.
didn't realize that
yeah,
was the
exactly.
Yeah, The
filmography.
Hangover. He also did Old School, I think. Basically, movies that I
Yeah.
was not a fan of.
It-
Not
it-
my kind of
I
thing.
mean, I laughed
remember
at
the
Old School.
character
I'm
that he
not gonna lie.
played in those movies?
The
No,
director was in the movies. I
Yeah, he
forget.
was in those movies. He was the guy that was smelling people's feet, like
Oh,
smelling
that
that
makes sense.
lady's feet in the book. And he was
Oh,
like he was always, I don't know, smelling things. I think his
not a
character is Mr. Creepy.
Tarantino.
Anyway,
Oh
Todd
no.
Phillips.
he's creepy in real life. Top Phil, there you go. But
Yeah.
yeah, like The Hangover and here's Joker. You gotta I enjoyed the first film and here we are talking about it again. But I think it's
Yeah.
shitty because the excuses are shitty. The fact that
Hmm, hmm.
because it's an old white guy saying you just don't get it, you're wrong. But if it were the way around, that's what irks me the most. Like there's
That's
plenty of
exactly what
films
I'm
that
Yeah.
were
saying.
great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, hundred
If I got
percent.
$1 every time an old white man told me that, I might be able to buy a house.
There you go.
You're
Elia,
gonna
look at that. We need
discount it.
Elia to direct the next film.
I'm
Okay, I'm
directing
down
the
to watch
next
it.
Joker. Yeah, it's gonna be
Are you
a
gonna hire
silent
Gaga again? I
film.
know you're
Yeah, I'm
a
gonna give
Gaga
Gaga a
fan.
second chance, but it's gonna be a silent film with puppets. It's actually gonna be a Muppet version.
And it
Um,
must be
Sweet.
in 3D, but only in the old
yeah,
school,
yeah,
red
you have to wear
and
the
blue
paper glass.
glasses
Yeah,
3D.
yeah, everyone gets a pair. We're bringing 3D movies back.
But the
I want the
classic
seats
ones.
that
They
shake,
Oh yeah, we need
like
the
the
sheet.
SpongeBob
We need a
Dylan
little
movie.
buzzer in the seat that like every time something happens, like oh, something
they should have at
happened.
least had like if it was like a musical, I think they should have at least had Batman in there to do that like really growly voice, like singing in there.
Oh
I
my
haven't seen
gosh,
the movie,
yes.
so I could
Sing
just kind of imagine,
rain.
like try to.
It's just bad,
And then do the
dude.
Bat
It's
Tooth
I don't
it's
scene.
know.
just
If
bad.
the Bat Tooth scene
It's
wasn't
just
done
bad.
at least once, I'll be very disappointed.
Didn't Prince make a dope Batman video? I'm just gonna
Yes, he
say,
did. It was
put it
very
Yeah.
out
dope.
there. There we go, Pat Dance. But guys, we'll move forward here into the night with
So,
recommendations just to close out the show. And of course, I want to just thank everybody for listening. Make sure you follow the show at My Primos Podcast and follow at MexAmericon as well. Uh, go check out the show. We have a lot of fun on the show here, but let's just not forget that this is about presenting our stories, our culture, our community out there, and let's just go support each other. I said
Mhm.
let's not go burn dollars at the theater and watch the froofy films that apparently we don't understand. Let's go watch our stories. Let's go see our faces in those books
Hell
and that
yeah.
art, whatever it may be. So definitely check that out. But recommendations, let's start with Javi, man. What's something that you recommend for the primos to check out? Like, be it whatever it may be, man. It could be a movie, TV, a book, whatever you're into right now.
On Hulu, there's this show called This Fool. I don't know if y'all checked that out or not
never
yet.
heard of it.
On my
No,
Oh
list.
yeah,
never heard of
Yeah,
it.
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm digging that. I mean, it goes off the rails a little bit towards the end, but I
It's the
love
best
it.
kind of
It is
shows.
great. I love the mom. So that's cool. Also, I was telling Nino that rewatching Scarface, but just specifically for the times where he should be speaking Spanish and he doesn't. That's hilarious to me too. It's like everybody's speaking Spanish, and
How
so
do you
Gives them
get
a
Al
speaking with a
unique
bad
Pacino,
accent.
accent
Italian
is not
guy?
Spanish. That's why I
Are you
say
Exactly.
sure?
it
Are
is
you
just
sure?
like Spanish,
Because I've
Spanish,
seen
and it's
some
like,
movies
hey
where
man,
speaking with a
coño.
German
Like you
accent
can't
means
just
they
say
speak
coño
German.
like for everything. It's horrible. So yeah, maybe a drinking game or something like that for water. I don't want to,
I like that. I like that. I like that. It always reminds me when I think of Scarface and I think of Pacino. For some reason, I always remember Mark Anthony was an actor, and I feel like
Yeah,
he
he
was
played
in.
a bad guy, right?
He
Was
played a bad
the
guy,
substitute, right? He was like
the
the
substitute.
gangster guy. Yeah.
Yep, and he was in Only the Strong with Mark Dacascos, where he teaches them street capoeira in the
Oh
inner
my
city of
gosh.
Miami.
Oh, I remember that movie. I don't remember he was in there. That's
He was in
awesome.
that movie, man. He had a
That's
ponytail.
on
I
my
don't know
list
why.
now.
There you go. Only the strong. That's not my recommendation though, but definitely a fun filled time had by all. Because he's now the Iron Chef, or he runs Iron Chef, Mark Dacascos. He is, yeah.
Really?
He is now the dude that comes out with the shaved head. It's like Iron Chef. He's that dude.
Yeah,
And
I
he
worked with
was.
Gosh.
him at a convention before.
Oh yeah.
Really?
You don't seem pleased.
Did he cook for
No,
you?
it was a cool experience. I thought that
He
was really
didn't
cool.
cook.
But like I liked his other stuff, and everybody's like, yeah, the Iron Chef guy. I'm like, oh, that too. Yeah, okay.
Mark Dacascos, the super karate and capoeira. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but for sure, if this fool's dope, I love it. It's fun. Nino, what about you, man? Something that people can recommend to the primos out there, something to read, watch, listen to, just anything that
Uh,
you feel they would dig.
I'll kind of go along like that small screen feel with Javier. There's actually a show called Primos. I don't know if y'all have seen that one, but there's one called
Yeah,
Ooh, we
Primos
I'm starting
on
it.
Freevee, I think is what it's on.
It's an interesting show.
Great, yeah, great show. Really dig that one. Other than that, right now I'm just really deep in MexAmericon, obviously. Um, follow
the
follow
lore
our
of
artists.
MexAmericon.
Yeah, as we feature our artists, put a call out to everybody to go and follow those artists. If you can't make it, again, if you're far away, or just not available, follow those artists, give them a shout out, um, follow their work, follow their Kickstarters, just support. It's really the main thing. And then
Definitely.
again, MexAmericon, come check us out.
MexAmericon. All right, Elia, what about you? What's something that's, I mean, just give us an update. Did you watch any more Primos the cartoon?
No, I need a minute from it. But I will tell you what I have been consuming.
Uh oh,
So,
tiny hands.
not so much recommendations, but I've been on a very big I'm gonna consume Caucasian media, and see
Okay.
what I like. So first of all, started and finished Sex in the City. I
Mm.
started during my break, finished it.
The
I
whole
see what.
thing?
Yeah, the whole thing.
I'm
I
sorry.
watched it all. Yeah, no, it
I
was like
like Sex in the City, dude.
No,
it
I
was
watched it when
okay.
it came out
so
too.
yeah, it was okay. I don't like any of the characters except Samantha. And then when I went to go watch the second, like the reboot just like that, and I found out Samantha wasn't in it, I'm like, I hate this. This is not why Samantha made the show. I know that doesn't
That's
mean
funny.
anything to anyone, but like like so yeah, I see why it
That's the
was
only
very
name
much
I
loved in the
remember.
90s. Yeah.
Once you
Iconic.
see the
Yeah.
Sex in
When he
the
said that,
City,
that's the
Yeah,
only
I was
she
name I
like,
was
remember.
the sex.
You're such a
Yeah.
Samantha.
it was
I
just
heard people
Yeah.
calling her. You're such a Samantha.
Iconic queen. But I'm still gonna continue watching and just like or just like that. I think it's that I don't even know the name of it, but they had more diversity in the newer one, of course, because like in the 90s they wouldn't let tan people on TV, I guess, whatever. But yeah, so watched it, enjoyed it, was okay. Not my favorite series. And then right now I'm watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And it
whoa.
is insane. Like they kind of party harder than I do. Like and it's
I,
crazy. So that's the next reality trash TV I'm going through right now.
I used to
Nice.
stay in Utah, and yeah, it's a
Oh
whole
yeah,
other
it
world.
takes place in Utah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
whole other
was
world
like,
over there.
"Whoa,
I know,
man."
Javi. That speaks volumes, man. Just the your vibe. Like, yeah, I party with Mormons. It's like
Party
it's kind
with
of
Mormons.
scary. We don't know what you do. You know what I
Hey.
Yeah,
mean?
I don't
Uh,
know.
That's for Hobby to
it's
know.
scary. It's for Javi to
Right.
know.
And there's
Right.
nothing in that state has caffeine in it, and they use fry
Yeah,
sauce. So they're just a little
yeah,
little interesting tidbit there. When you go
yep,
to
Ooh,
McDonald's, they have fry sauce, which is
There's
their
some
own
nice
special
mountains.
thing.
yeah.
Um, anyway,
No,
that's all I got
it's
for you.
no, yeah, for sure. Because like on the show, I think it was like it's not an alcohol state, so it's like there's
Hmm.
only soda
Yep.
bars every so often. But yeah, there's no caffeine in the soda. It was so. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
it's a whole
It's a different
culture.
experience.
weird.
Yeah,
Beautiful
It's Twilight
country
Zone
though. It's like
episode.
really, really
yeah,
nice over
yeah. It looks pretty. It looks
there.
pretty. But yeah, so that's like my trash TV. I do want to go on a quick rant about a certain movie I watched for the first time this weekend.
Ooh, what is
Um,
it?
Pinocchio.
Wait,
Disney's
which
Wait,
Pinocchio.
one?
hold on.
Oh,
Which
the
one?
cartoon,
The
the
OG
cartoon.
one.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, okay.
okay.
Oh my
Some of it
god.
doesn't age.
I don't think okay, so I cared more about the boys being trafficked to become donkeys
Yep.
issue than I cared about any of the entire plot.
And they
I'm like,
just leave it behind. They don't
they
dress it
just
again.
leave it. I was
They
so
Yep.
don't.
upset. I'm like, I
Those
don't
kids
care
just
about
stay that way.
Pinocchio and Geppetto anymore. Like, and then Jiminy Cricket, useless as all hell.
Okay.
Useless.
One of the conspiracy theories is that Donkey from Shrek was one of those kids.
I,
Really?
oh my god, the lore. You know what? I'll
Because
accept that. If they will
otherwise,
give
like,
me
what
that.
fairy tale did he come from? You know?
Exactly. That's so true. Shrek.
Oh
Shrek
man.
knows more
Interesting.
than anyone, you guys. Shrek is love, Shrek is
Shrek
life.
goes deep,
Shrek goes
Hmm.
deep.
deep like the
Those onions, you
swamp.
got to peel back them layers.
He
Yep.
goes deep to
Go
fill
for
that
the
Hey,
hole.
quad.
Fill that hole. Fill that
guys,
hole in that
at
swamp.
the end of the day, Shrek
And
will
look,
give you
that little
resolve.
kid grew up to make dragon babies, so I'm
That's
okay with
true.
that.
Yeah, he got busy. He got
Wow.
busy.
There's a lot there to
But no, yeah,
unpack.
Pinocchio was just like it was just so I'm like, I don't even care about Pinocchio anymore. Can we resolve this issue going on? Like, but no, it was a ride that I was like, I don't care.
They're just like trafficking happens, just accept it and move on. Like,
Yeah,
what?
move on. We're still gonna find this puppet's dad in a
You know what?
in a
So what you're
whale.
saying is you
In
need
a
to
whale's
have
mouth.
the Taken Pinocchio sequel.
Yeah,
It's like,
Ooh.
I'm
Liam
gonna find the
Neeson?
Yeah.
donkeys, and I have a special set of skills.
right. I'll watch it. I'll fund it.
Fuck it. Just make it happen, man. I'm down with Liam Neeson and
I'll draw
everything.
the Forbidden comic, the sequel. Done.
Just
It's always
Liam
weird when
Neeson
you see
versus
like
that.
Liam Neeson. I've seen Liam Neeson in like action roles, right? Like a hero, a bad guy.
Yeah.
He fought a wolf on a mountain. He did a bunch of crazy stuff, right? And then out of nowhere, you see him do like Liam Neeson's in a romantic comedy, and it kind of throws me off. Like he's gonna choke her in the bathroom, right?
You
Like
know,
he's not
he
gonna.
did romantic
Like,
comedies before that, though. That's the thing.
no, sorry.
No.
Oh, man. It's like Stallone. Like, I'm in love with you. Like, like it doesn't work. Like He's Stallone. He doesn't
He
do
won an
like
Oscar for the romance.
I Heart Huckabees or whatever. You know what
Throw
I
Mama
mean?
I
from the
don't
Train is one of
forget
his
it.
best.
It was a day.
Billy Crystal.
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. That's a classic. I actually saw that in theaters.
That one was pretty funny. Tango and Cash. See, there's no romance there. Just a badass. Him and Kurt Russell. I'm sorry, I digress. Kevin Garcia, what about you, man? What do you recommend this
So
week?
there's two things that I've been or have watched recently that I do want to bring up. One is I just saw a indie's not the right word, art house maybe, a film called A Different Man starring Sebastian Stan, the Winter Soldier, and this is
Mhm.
where he plays a character that has severe facial differences, and he's got like a lot of makeup on his face to show that. Like there've been other movies like The Elephant Man and things like that
Oh
before.
wow.
What makes this
Yeah.
interesting is that the one of the other major roles in the movie is Adam Pearson, who is a man who is born with severe facial differences, and that becomes a plot point throughout the movie, and it's really good. It straddles the line between being preachy and entertaining, and it never quite becomes preachy, and I appreciate that. Like, he still has a very clear message, but it doesn't ever like hit you over the head with it. Instead, it's like, what the hell am I watching? There's body horror halfway through this, and then suddenly it's a comedy, and also there's it's weird and it's great. So I highly recommend that if you if you want to seek that out. Though fair warning, there is brief moments of body horror, a little bit of Cronenberg stuff. The other thing that I watched
Mm.
recently that I really need to recommend, and I cannot recommend enough, is Chaos, spelled with a K, Kaos, which is a Netflix series starring Jeff Goldblum and just about everybody you've ever heard of, all the way from him to Eddie Susie Izzard, who's in there. They got a bunch of people in this show. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a bit horrific. It's great. And then what happens? They just today announced that they're going to cancel it before season 2 even gets
Yep.
made.
Hmm.
It's
And
so good.
it is so good. Now, admittedly, as I was watching it,
I'm
I'm on the
upset.
second. Yeah, I'm on the second to last episode, and I'm like, when this resolves, there's no reason to do a sequel. I guess it's a really good, just one and done season.
Oh,
And then the
okay.
last
I'm
episode's
not
like,
done
no,
with it.
we're gonna do more. We're gonna do more. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for this. I'll see where they go with this. And no, we're not gonna see where they go with this.
I'm gonna
Uh,
cry.
I,
Yeah.
I was
but
so excited for that series.
but I want to point out, tying this to A Different Man, you've heard of like what is it, Hamilton having like colorblind casting and stuff.
Mhm.
Chaos does that as well. There's a lot of big name stars, but it not only does it not matter what your racial or national or ethnic background is, there's also body differences throughout the movie that are not plot points. They're just people who have different bodies, and it's like, I see that the kind of people that would go after, Marvels or, whatever for not being straight white male casts are going to be like, oh, I don't like this and we should cancel it. I just saw an article today that said one of my favorite games, the Horizon series on PlayStation,
Yeah.
is getting a lot of hate right now, saying that it's fake being propped up because there's like LGBT themes in it, and it's like, of course, that's going to make people think it's fake when I've been enjoying it since I first played it.
Yeah.
Kevin, you did hear they're making the Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yote,
Yes,
a
I am
female
super
lead.
excited about that. I am super excited about that, and not only female, but middle aged. Which that's gonna piss people off.
Cool.
But it looks
So
so
cool.
good, and I was late coming into that game. My brother got me into it eventually, about a couple years after it came out. But oh man, I loved it so much, and that sequel, just every little bit of it we've seen, beautiful, looks perfect.
Video games, man. Video games, because that's what I've been doing, man. I've been playing a lot of games recently, so I've been in my deal here. But recommendations, there's I've been doing kind of a I get corrupted and then I go get cleansed kind of deal because I like my brain. I need to, because if I go to bed and like here's the deal. Do it, and it's an older game, so just bear with me. But I do recommend it for the gamer that's comfortable with the context of which the violence takes place. It's not a gore deal at all. At all, it's not. Hotline Miami. Anybody hear the name? Know the name?
Mm-mm.
I
Hotline
recognize it.
Miami. Hotline Miami is an 8-bit looking like Nintendo-ish game, okay? But it's the bloodiest like game you'd play because literally it's a one-hit kill kind of game. And the premise of the story is what really sells you. I'll put it to you this way. I rediscovered it because my son had an interest in it. And he's 15 now. And I said, fine, let's do it. Let's do Hotline Miami because I did it at one point. But when I tell you that the here's the pitch for it, it's Drive the game. Okay, the Ryan Gosling movie. It's Drive the game. The guy literally gets a phone call and it's coded like, "Hey, I need a babysitter on 5th Street." I got 8 kids, and then I'll bring the toys. It's all coded messages, and you show up and you clear house. You basically kill everybody in there, but the story stacks on top of each other, where you're learning that who's making these phone calls. Why are you being forced into doing this? Because the characters are 8-bit characters, so they're not like a GTA, a real lifelike looking game. It's all like 8-bit looking games, but it is bloody. You die at one hit, but it's that repeat cycle. You instantly respawn and go again until you can beat the level. But the story is what pretty puts me in there. Everything from the Russo-American War, things from like there's some really like dark themes in the story itself, and you don't really pay attention as a kid playing it. But when you're of the right mind, it opens your brain up to this whole different dark world. So I would say I recommend it for those that are not won't shy away from it, that are comfortable with the context of it, because there is violence, and there are some. There is one essay theme that shows up in there. They even say if you're not comfortable with this, skip. Like it gives you that option, but it drives
But it
home the
also has
message at the end
it
of
does
it.
all this while having a retro vibe, right?
100%. It
See,
literally takes place in 80s Miami. Talk about Scarface. It's like it's Scarface and Drive with the music, the clothes. The guy drives a DeLorean to go kill people. Like that's the whole deal. Like he is all about that 80s vibe, that synth music. If you play the music, it makes you want to go commit a crime. Like that's how good the music is. Like
Oh
it's
I'll be
dear.
that
honest,
good.
Grand Theft Auto 3
Sign
did
me
that for
up.
me the first time I played it.
Like yeah, it's like Vice City, right? But like it's such a deep game. It's great. My kid, like, for his birthday, I got him the sequel. It was like on sale for like $1.50. It's like a 10-year-old game, right?
Dang.
But point
I'm
is,
looking at
it's
it. It looks
worth
really
it.
good. I'm a big fan of. I know the retro stuff is kind of overdone in gaming a lot, but I'm actually a big fan of it. And the vibe you're talking about kind of reminds me of a game I played right before the pandemic called Katana Zero, which is a side scroller, but also is done in this retro vibe. And you're like a samurai who is also maybe a time traveler, or maybe psychic, or maybe he's amnesiac, and it's all that at once. And it's like, yeah, I could dig that.
Mhm.
This game has. It's like you're watching a Tarantino movie, because it's bloody. There's tons of dialogue. There are cutscenes, but it's all 8-bit, and then it flips and it becomes Memento with like Reservoir Dogs kind of mixed together at the end. It's really really good. I really recommend it for story and gameplay wise. You're hooked. It's like super cheap. It's on everything. It's on every single console, computer, Switch. It's on everything. So definitely check that out. And why I play that, then I have to kind of like cleanse my eyeballs and kind of like eye bleach. There's a show that I kind of fell into watching, and no idea I was gonna love it as much as I love it. And me and my wife have been watching it nonstop, and it's a show called Bob and Abishola. Have you guys heard of this or know of this? It's a sitcom where it's a old white guy has a heart attack, goes to the hospital, falls in love with a nurse that's from Nigeria, from Lagos, and they end up having a relationship together and legit like fall in love. And it's the whole clash of different cultures, them getting to know each other. White guy, family from Nigeria, the mixing of the cultures, from everything from the church to the business, and the kids. It's really 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 heartfelt, really funny.
I think someone had
It's
mentioned that to me. I am definitely curious.
never knew much about the Nigerian like home life and culture, and they really respect it from what I've read online about it. It's kind of true to force, and it's a lot of correlations with the Latino culture too. Everything about like, hey, stop crying, get over it, go to work, you'll be fine. The harder you work, the better you'll be. Oh, you want to dance for a living? That's cute, but let's get a real job. Like all that stuff we kind of grew up with, like it's there too. So you still kind of connect, and you feel seen. So and that is it has a great feel at the end of it. It's a great sitcom. It has like 4 or 5 seasons, so it's worth watching. There you go. So my Rex for this week: murder and then love.
which sums up my Primos podcast in the best way.
That's the way, primos. But of course, thank you guys for listening. I want to thank, of course, our guests, Javi, Nino. Check out MexAmericon, November 2nd in Austin. Look it up at MexAmericon. Check them out. Check out the creators. Of course, check out at Spice Illustrations, Mr. Kevin Garcia _.com, and of course, the show at My Primos Podcast. Primos, remember, no matter where you're from, we're all primos. Take care.
We out.
My Primos Podcast is produced by Chikume. Music provided by Sin Color. Check them out at Sin Color Music. This week's episode was hosted by Elia Mari Madrid. Check her out at Spice Illustrations. And by Kevin Garcia. Check him out at KevinGarcia_com. Also, I want to thank Javi and Nino from MexAmericon joining us this week.
Como una rosa entre espinar salta, mi amor.
And definitely, primos, let's go support amazing creators at MexAmericon issue 7 in Austin, Texas, at Pan Am Park. Check out at MexAmericon for more details. We'll be there. We hope we see you as well. Primos, thanks for listening. And we appreciate everyone out there checking on each other, checking often. And remember, no matter where you're from, we're all primos. Cuídense. Until next time.